Hey Andrea, hey Melody. All right. Hello, I'm so glad you're here. Okay, I'm gonna go through some different equipment that we might use. You don't have to have any equipment for today, but if you have it, these are some things I might show. So one is a squeeze object, and that can be a yoga ball, Pilates ball, kids ball. This is a bender ball. A pillow will work. We're gonna squeeze that between the inner thighs. A pillow will work, and a yoga block will also work. So that is one little thing that you might grab. All right, and then also I'm going to show some options for a big stability ball. Now with this, there'll be a floor option and a ball option, or an option with the ball and without the ball. So you'll have two options with that. And then a set of dumbbells. If you have dumbbells, grab those. If you don't, maybe you could just grab something, a heavy object around the house or something semi-heavy. And that would be compared to whatever is heavy to you. And of course you can do everything without the weights. And then I have a circle band. If you have one of these, you might grab that. And then if you don't have a circle band, you might grab a straight band and tie that. We'll tie that around our legs. And then the last thing that you might want to have is a set of ankle weights. So if you want to add an ankle weight to any of our moves, you can. So pick that. Hey, Susanna B. So glad y'all are here this morning. We have a great little community that gets together and does this from all over the world. So I'm so glad you're here joining us. Hey, Lynn. All right, sometimes I can tell who's here, so you have to say hi. Let me know where you're from and your name, all that good stuff. Okay, so let's get started. So our goal is yoga, stretching, and glute work or butt work, getting our butt more toned and stronger, and core. So the abs, back, glutes, inner thigh, pelvic floor, those are all part of your deep inner core muscles, and that's what we're going to target today. So just take a moment and find your feet grounded to the earth. Take a nice deep breath. Forget everything that's been going on in the last 24 hours. Just throw it off the mat. Inhale nose and exhale. AH. Forget about the to-do list, all the people, conversations, situations. Leave all that off the mat for now. That'll all be there when we leave the mat. So just push it away from you. If you can, push it out of the room. Inhale up, reach up, stretch up. Remember today to take care of your body. Only doing what feels good to you. Don't do anything that hurts. If something has any pain to it, just stop. If I show something that is not good for you, just do something else. Stretch or do something that we have previously done. Just put the hands to the back of the hips. Let's open up that heart. Push the hips forward. Pull the shoulder blades back. Open the front of that heart and the stomach and breathe into that stomach area. Maybe even breathe all the way down through that torso. Hands on the hips, and let's roll the hips just to kind of warm up through that low back and hip area, especially because we're going to be targeting this area. And roll that the other way. Remember to focus on your body. All through class, we want to hold the abs tight, protecting the spine, but not just the abs, the back, the glutes, the inner thigh, the pelvic floor, all of those deep core powerhouse muscles. And let's roll the shoulders just to let some stress out of there and kind of inhale, nose, exhale. Now there may be distractions at your place. There may be distractions at my place, but we're not going to let that dissolve the peace and the work that we're doing. We're going to choose to let those noises go or those distractions go and just focus on what we need to focus on, which is taking care of ourselves today. All right, so let's start to warm up this hip flexor a little bit. Face the short side of your mat. Inhale up, reach up. And then exhale, step back into that lunge, opening this hip flexor, pelvic tilt a little bit to get that to loosen up. These get really tight from sitting in a car, at a desk, on the couch. And they also get tight because they are used every time we take a step. So let's come up, inhale up. And exhale, step back. Reach up, stretch up, open up. And pelvic tilt. Moving and breathing. Great. Then option to use the ball or option to put the hands in the middle of the thighs. So you can have the hands in the middle of the thighs or you can have your ball just right out in front of you, and we're going to hold the core tight. We're going to extend one leg out. This is where you could add an ankle weight to the ankles. We're going to lift and lower, hold the core tight, breathe. We're going to do 10 of these. And then option to go to a warrior 2 and a full warrior 3. A full warrior 3 is with both arms extended and that leg out. Another option is to hold the ball and lift only the opposite arm. So it's almost like a bird dog also. So a standing bird dog or a warrior 3 bird dog. Good job using that glute. Now option to tap and lift. 10, 9, hold that core tight. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. So you could also hold a piece of furniture. You could just keep the hand on that front thigh like that for a little bit of support. You're going to want to have a focal point. Probably feel that glute a little bit. Shake that out. Have to go get that. And then another stretch you could do is ankle on the knee stretch. That's going to stretch that glute. So anytime we're standing and we're doing something that works that glute or that hip, you can do ankle on the knee. Now, if you are struggling with this, you can sit in a chair. And you sit in a chair and just do ankle on the knee. We keep the spine straight and hinge forward. So that's a one-legged chair. You can work on that. I love this live stuff because you can't hit it. All right, so let's go to the other side when you're ready. So remember which leg you were moving. You can use a piece of furniture or the ball or nothing. Have the hands on the thighs and then just lift that leg like that. Find a focal point for balance. So holding the ball with both hands on the first one. I'm going to lift 10. Keep the core muscles engaged. Keep breathing. Keep that spine straight. The head follows the spine naturally. And then hold that up. So we have like that warrior 3 position. We're not locking the knee. Make sure that knee is not locked. All the knees and toes are forward from the hip. Then we can extend the opposite arm. So now we're like in a bird dog pose and standing. Combination of warrior 3 and bird dog. And then tap and lift. 10. Hold the core strong. Keep the back strong. Elongating from tailbone to top of the head. Great job. And then back into our warrior or our standing single leg chair. Nice deep breath. Ankle on the knee, sitting down into that, stretching those hips. Inhale up, exhale, switch. Inhale nose and exhale nose. Make sure the knee is not coming out past the toe. Breathe, focus, and you can sit in a chair and do this. Sit in a chair and do ankle on the knee, spine straight, hinge forward at that hip. Remember, inhaling and exhaling, letting go of everything outside that mat. Great. So now let's grab our squeeze object. So you don't have to have one. You can pretend, or a kid's ball, a yoga ball, a pillow works, or a yoga block, something you can put between the inner thighs. And you're going to squeeze that really tight. And notice that when you engage the inner thigh, how much easier it is to engage in the pelvic floor and the glutes and the abs and the low back. So we're facing any direction that works for us. Knees and toes, hips and shoulders are forward. Spine is going to stay straight, and we're going to just squat down and up. So you can add some dumbbells to your hands or your shoulders, or you can flow like yoga. Inhale up, exhale, chair pose, and just flowing and squeezing all those muscles as you move. So if you want more yoga, just flow in and out of that chair. And if you want more toning and strengthening, hold the heaviest weights that you can handle. The heavy weight is what helps tone up and develop that butt. So the hands could be down by the sides, keeping the shoulders in the sockets. The hands could be on the hips, keeping that chin parallel to the earth as we sit back. And then, or to make it a little harder on the core, they could be on the shoulders, but not on your clavicle bone. So that little bone in the front, don't put the dumbbells on that little bone. Hold it off of that bone. And so we stand nice and tall in that mountain pose, and then squat back. So we're doing a parallel squat here, or a chair pose. The chin and the tailbone are going in opposite directions, so the chin is parallel to the earth. Inhale as we go down, hold the abs tight. Exhale, power up, squeeze. Inhale, exhale. Really squeezing that squeeze object. And then option to keep the dumbbells or get rid of the dumbbells. We're going to turn the knees and toes out wide, squeezing the inner thigh. The knee and toe is out wide. We're going to inhale open just enough where we don't lose our object. And then up and squeeze tight through the inner thigh, keeping the core nice and strong, keeping the posture muscles upright, that chin parallel to the earth. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze tight. Breathe. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Use the whole exhale to keep everything nice and tight and contracted. Inhale, nose. Thanks for those hearts. And exhale, squeeze tight. Inhale, nose. Exhale, standing up tall, squeezing. Abs, back, pelvic floor, inner thigh, glutes, all of that nice and tight. Thanks so much for being here. Oh gosh, really work deep in here and be mindful of your movement. Squeeze. Great job. All right, let's set all this aside. So no equipment. No equipment. Grab a drink of water. So remember to sip on your water as you work out always. It's a good way to get your water up for the day as your body is more accepting when you're more active. It's going to be glad that you did it, but the recommendation is to sip on water every 10 to 15 minutes during a workout. All right, nice, deep, full breath. Inhale up. Meet me on the short side of your mat. Inhale up. Exhale down. Step back into that lunge position. So in a lunge position, the front knee should be over the front heel. The torso should be over this back knee in the bent knee position. Now in this position, this is quads and glutes. And then if you pitch forward, have a diagonal line kind of from the back of this leg through the tailbone, through the top of the head. And you go up and down, that's a little more glute action. So depending on what you're trying to target, with your dumbbells in the gym or in your own workouts, this position does matter. But for right now, we're just holding a yoga lunge opening here, opening this hip flexor and breathing. Inhale up, let's drop the back foot at an angle. So now we're in warrior two position, Virabhadrasana. And then we're gonna reach and stretch through those arms. Now we have the perfect distance here. We've already set that up, right? Knee over the heel, back leg straight, both feet flat on the ground. All we're gonna do is switch those feet into a warrior two on the other side. Just stretching open those inner thighs, reaching and opening and breathing. And then let's turn into lunge on the other side, opening that hip flexor. And you might want to just kind of practice and feel those two different positions. So one, the torso is upright over the back bent knee, and the other one is a pitch forward from tailbone to top of the head, straight line. At the angle targets the glute on that standing leg a little bit more. So you can do them either way, depending on what you're trying to target. Now step to that short side of the mat, either side. So if you want to change, I know I changed sides, but you can go to the other side, back to the other side if you want. Inhale up, exhale, chair pose. A little bit harder on the core is to keep the arms extended and going into powerful pose. So inhale, chair or powerful, and exhale, come up. Just flow and move and breathe. And then let's alternate that lunge. So we're gonna step back, we're gonna take our torso with that back knee on this one. Back and forth. If everything feels okay, grab those dumbbells. You can hold them down by the sides on your hips or up on those shoulders. When you're ready, all knees and toes forward. When you grab dumbbells, you make sure you slow your movements down. Take your time, even if it takes a couple steps forward and back. Lunge is a balancing pose or balancing position. And so you want to make sure you have a focal point, something eye level. Not necessarily looking on the ground unless it's way out in front of you, but something eye level is a little better for your balance. Take your time. Each time you go down, work on getting 1 millimeter lower or just a little bit more open, as long as nothing is bothering you. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. Inhale nose, exhale AH. Let all that stress out of the body. So you can flow a little faster or you can go slow. It's up to you. Work at your own pace. Slower is a little harder on the muscle, makes more muscle work, a little safer on the joints. All right, now let's put the dumbbells down for a second. Meet me back in mountain. Nice, deep, full breath. Chair pose or powerful pose hold. Keep that chin up parallel to the earth. Great. And then into a lunge. Open this hip flexor, whatever leg is back. Let's take that arm on that side of the body and do a tricep stretch. Opening, breathing. And back to mountain. And step the other foot back. Open that hip flexor, tricep stretch. Great, so isometric work on those muscles. When we're holding those poses, I'm sure you can feel that shakiness. We are working just as hard in those holding poses as we are in the moving. Grab the dumbbells again. This time, if you put them on your shoulders, you're gonna work that core a little harder so you could hold them there. We're going to do that bent forward position, so if that feels a little off in your low back, which it should, so if it's too much on your low back, just put them down here on these thighs or down in the hands. So we're going to hinge forward with that diagonal line from that back heel through the top of the head, and then we're just going to dip that back knee and power up and squeeze both glutes. We're going to do about 10 of these. Keep that head following the spine naturally. Now, if you have those dumbbells, set those dumbbells down. You might put blocks down here, or you might put your hands on the earth. And then almost touch the floor and back up, almost touch the floor and back up. And if you went and grabbed blocks or grabbed dumbbells or anything, just don't worry. You don't have to stay right with me. You see what I'm doing, and you can catch up. There'll be times to catch up, so don't feel like you have to be right with me. We're doing 10 of those. Feel that. Feel that power in there. Breathe. Stretching, holding, focusing. And then let's drop this back knee. Set the dumbbells down and go to all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders. Knees underneath the hips. Do not lock the elbows. Cat-cow, just stretching and aligning the spine. Inhale, look out. Exhale, look in, suck up the abs up against gravity. Inhale, look out. Exhale, suck in. So you're working your abs here, working the exhale and pulling the abs up. Helps work the deepest layer of abdominals. Inhale, look out. Exhale, pull the abs up. Now, something to enhance that move is the squeeze object. You can put that between the inner thighs and squeeze that squeeze object, sucking those abs up a little harder and tighter. So think abs, back, pelvic floor, glutes, inner thigh. Inhale, look out. Exhale, pull in. Great job. And then push back into a child's pose. Extend those arms. Balasana is the ancient name for child's pose. Then come up with the hips, curl the toes under, lift the hips to the heavens, stretching across the back of those legs, pushing through the arms, sucking in the abs and ribs. Option to bend one knee and keep one straight. And then if you do that, switch sides. Come back down to the knees, lay the toes flat, walking back. You can keep the hands on the earth looking out, lion pose, or you can walk the hands to the thighs. Now you may have a stop in your feet. I mean, even at your toes can stop you from going farther into this. So at your toes, at your shins, at your knees, at your quads, something might say that's enough, and that's okay. Listen to that. And then the most advanced version is taking the hands back and pushing the hips up. All right, you can keep your little squeeze object for this next thing, just for the core. Or you can use your big ball. This is an option. You're going to have a floor option and a ball option. So you can keep the squeeze object. It's just going to help you engage deeper in the core. We're going to do a plank. If you're going to use your ball for your plank, make sure your chest is not laying down on that ball. That's cheating, and it could hurt your shoulder. So you want to keep the elbows right in front of the shoulders. You want to keep that chest uplifted off the ball. And if you're just now learning, you can just hover your hips down. Like this would be a modified version, or a full version is curl the toes under. Do not clench the fists and lift up into that plank. So we can hold a plank on the ball or on the floor. Elbows under the shoulders. Do not clench the fists. Keep the abs nice and tight. A modified version is knees bent and the hips hovering over the earth. Full version is straight line from the heels through the tailbone, from tailbone through top of the head. Breathe and hold. Now you can hold this longer, or you can push back child's pose, go back to cat-cow, whatever you would like. Once you're done doing all of that, you're going to get rid of the squeeze object and do a couple poses or stretches that feel good to you. And then we're going to go back to standing, and we're going to do that angled lunge on the other side. So you can do anything that feels good to you stretch-wise, and then just meet me standing. So you might go back to down dog and walk to the feet, step, walk, or hop. With the squeeze object, you can hop up. Once you get up, make sure you're not dizzy. Get up it slowly. Some people get dizzy easy. And then grab that sip of water, and then we'll go back and do it all again. Do it on the other side. All right, so we're gonna use those dumbbells if we did on the other side. You know, you can put those in several places. We're gonna do chair pose or powerful pose first. That's just where we sit back like we're gonna sit in a chair, and then we don't sit there. Facing the short side of the mat. And sitting back into that, keeping that chin parallel to the earth. One thing that helps develop and strengthen and tone up those glutes or the butt muscles are low, heavy squats and low, heavy lunges. So you want to challenge yourself. Don't stay with the lightest weights. You want to always go up in weight as those weights get easier and easier for you to do. And you don't always want to make it easy. You want to push through and make it a little harder, but never any pain and never anything that doesn't feel safe. All right, make sure we step back with that opposite foot. And you know, you can have these dumbbells on your shoulders. That's going to put a lot more pressure on your back. You might have it on this thigh, or you might just let them hang in the arms, but keep the shoulders packed into the body. Get that straight line from that back heel through the tailbone, through the top of the head, and then we go down and up. We have about 10 of these. Really squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. And then put those dumbbells down like yoga blocks, or use yoga blocks, or put your hands on the floor. Dip and lift back there, and that back knee. Keeping the front knee over that front heel. Squeeze the glute, squeeze the core. And then drop that back knee. Get rid of those dumbbells. Whatever leg is in the back, lift that arm up for that tricep stretch. Keep your focal point for balance. Still feeling those legs nice and active. Great. All fours. Cat-cow. Option to grab the squeeze object. Stretching the spine here, getting fluid to the discs, aligning the central nervous system, but also working that core, using that strong exhale and that abdominal contraction to train the abs to suck into the body. Great. Push back. Breathe into the back, separating the ribs. Use that breath to stretch from the inside out. Walk the hands back, finding that stretch in the tops of the feet, ankles, shins, knees, quads, whatever feels good to you. Pull those shoulders down into the body. Have nice posture. Breathe. And then extend those arms back out. That measures you right for your down dog. Curl the toes under. Lift those hips in that down dog. Option just to stay here and stretch, or option to tap the opposite hand to the opposite foot, holding the core tight, squeezing that ball, alternating sides. Make sure you're even, and then step, walk, or hop to standing with or without that ball. All right, now if you have a circle band, I'll have you grab that circle band. If you don't worry about it. You don't have to have it. And if you have a straight band, you could tie it around the upper thighs. So we're going to put that above the knee, never on the knee joint. So if you have one, grab those dumbbells. That's optional also. So our knees and toes, hips and shoulders are forward, our core is tight. The dumbbells can be down by the sides, on the hips, or on the shoulders. Keep that chin up, knees and toes forward. Hold the abs strong, squat down so we're in that chair pose or that squat position, and then we're going to walk across our mat. Keeping the knees and toes forward, staying down in that chair, activating those core muscles, breathing, going across the mat, back and forth. Put a smile on your face, trick your brain, make it think it's having fun. Great job. Now, you can keep the dumbbells or set them down. Face the short side of the mat. Take some nice deep breaths. Inhale nose, we're exhaling mouth to let the heat escape and to have a little better breath efficiency while our heart rate is up. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. We're not locking the knees. We're keeping the core nice and tight. We're going to step back in that lunge the best we can against that band. We're going to bend that back knee and press. So you can do this without the band and really squeeze the glute. Hold the abs and back strong. Nice posture. Torso over that back knee and over the hips. A lot of people lean forward. Now on this move right here, we're not leaning forward. Now push back into that. Balance on that front foot. Keep that knee over that front heel and try to balance into Warrior 3 the best you can against that band. Lengthen, align, breathe, and then back to mountain. Nice deep breath. Feeling those feet grounded and connected to the earth. Bring the hands to the low back. Slide the hands down the back. Gently looking right and left, working on that range of motion in that neck. Holding the core tight. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. Head neutral and then do ear to shoulder. Ear to shoulder like this, side to side. We're anchoring those shoulders down so the neck muscles will actually stretch. So keeping those arms down, staying nice and tall and upright, and just stretch gently through that neck. Great. Now back in that mountain, facing the short side, stepping back in that lunge. Option to have that band tied around those upper thighs, never at the knee joint, and then we're going to bend that knee and press straight back, 10 of those, holding the torso upright over the hips, front knee over the front heel, never out past the toes. Great. Breathe, hold, focus. And step back to mountain. Feel those glutes active, breathe. So standing in the mountain, gently push your hip back. Feel that lengthen through that glute a little bit. And then switch. Nice deep breath, stretching, working, and then stretching a little. Then let's come back. Step that front foot or the first foot back. Pitch forward, hands in the middle of the thigh, never on the front knee joint. And let's bend and push. Bend and push, 10 of those. Good. Straight line from the tailbone to the top of the head at that diagonal angle. Go right into the other side and switch. 10, 9, 4, 3, 2, release. Back up. Feel that power. Push that hip out. Inhale up. Exhale, push the other hip out. Inhale up. Again. Great job. Inhale up. Dive forward. Get the rib cage or stomach on the thighs the best you can. So really bend these knees. Don't let the knees go out past the toes. Get the stomach and ribs on the thighs the best you can. Hold the legs and gently try to straighten. So by keeping the stomach on the thighs, we're going to be protecting these low back discs. Squeeze that pelvic floor and elongate those hips upward, trying to isolate the hamstrings. So the rib cage on the thigh is going to make sure the back is not taking the stretch and the hamstrings are actually stretching. Hands on the earth, try to walk back with that band into down dog. Fingers spread, middle fingers forward, all four corners of the palms on the earth, stretching back through those heels, pushing through those arms, sucking in through the abs and ribs. Lift one leg, push against that band, and alternate sides. You can go down to the elbows instead of the hands. We're all going to do that in a minute, but if you need to get off your wrist, you can do that now. Then when you're ready, drop to your knees, drop to your elbows, get the elbows underneath the shoulders, middle fingers pointing forward again. Curl the toes under, lift the hips again, dolphin pose. And then alternate that leg lift, straight leg lift to the back. Walk the feet back, going into plank. You can be down on your knees instead, on the knees or on the toes. Option, just an option, to go to side plank. And then back to regular plank, and then side plank on the other side. Drop to the knees, walk back, lion or hero. Go as deep into that as you would like. Stretching the front of those legs and thighs. Fingers pointing forward like the same direction as the knees. Come back to all fours. Hands underneath the shoulders. Lift opposite arm, opposite leg in that bird dog against that band. Stretching out, reaching out, holding the core tight. Bird dog is one of the best exercises and stretches that you should do for your whole life. It helps strengthen some long, skinny muscles on each side of the spine called the erector spinae. Whew. Inhale nose, exhale mouth. Hold those abs tight, and then have a seat. So we're gonna keep the band if you have it. If you can get your water, stop and get a drink of water. Take a nice deep breath. All right, we're getting close to the end. So we're gonna use this big ball. Let me show you something. You could use an ottoman or a chair. I'm also gonna show you it without the ball or without a piece of furniture. So the next thing we're gonna do is put the legs on the ball or the furniture and lift and bridge. So if you don't wanna use the legs elevated, you'll have your feet on the floor, knees bent, and we'll lift the hips that way in bridge pose. So take a moment for yourself, get that furniture or that ball handy. If you have your feet on the floor, knees bent, take your arms wide and just rock the knees side to side, letting any tension out of that low back. Squeeze those legs together just to help that deep inner core line, stabilize that spine a little bit as you stretch and rock through that low back. You could also turn the head with the knees, or you could turn the head opposite the knees. Inhale nose and exhale AH. Just let all the stress and tension come out of the body through that breath. Inhale nose. Let it out. Sometimes we have situations where we want to act out aggressively, and so right now is a great time to get any of that out. Sometimes we're under high stress and high tension, and we need to just get it out for a second. Okay, so get ready with your furniture or your ball. We want the calves to be rested on that. We still have that band if you have it. I'm going to give you an option with that band. Our arms are going down by the sides. Our head and tailbone and everything in between are in alignment with each other. Make sure you're comfortable in your shoulders. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to lift the legs up and push open against the band and shut and back down, but don't touch the floor. So you can change your position, practice that for a second, change your position a little bit before we start going, or just join us in a bit, and you can go ahead and go. So we're going to go up, out, in, down, up, out, in, 9, up, out, in, 8, up, out, in, 7, up, out, in, 5, up, out, in, 4, up, out, in, 3, up, out, in, 2, up, out, in, 1. Then bring the knees to chest. Just stretch through those glutes a little bit. And let's go again. Up, out, in, 10, up, out, in, 9, up, out, in, 8, up, out, in, 7, up, out, in, 6, up, out, in, 5, up, out, in, 4, up, out, in, 3, up, out, in, 2, up, out, in, 1, and knees to chest. Nice, deep, full breaths. Let's take that band off. You can have your foot on that piece of furniture or the foot on the floor or the foot on the ball. Put the ankle on the knee. Hold underneath that thigh and pull those legs into the chest. Feel that stretch under that glute, especially those rotators. We were working the hip rotators in that move. And then you'll switch to the other side. Go ahead and switch to the other side. Just checking something. All right now. So now grab your squeeze object. And again, you don't have to have it. You can just pretend, but it really does make a difference. And once you use the squeeze object, you'll understand. So this could be a foam roller, a yoga block, a pillow, or a kid's ball. It's not too hard. Something that has a little squeeze to it. Or a yoga Pilates ball, bender ball, whatever. All right, so hands down by the sides. Your legs can be, feet bent on the floor. You don't have to have them up on an object or up on the object. And then this time we're just going to squeeze up and down and squeeze that object really tight, working on the deep inner core line of the body. Now think about this. The deep inner core line of the body is the inside of the ankles up through the inside of the leg, on each side of the spine, and up to through the neck and up to the outside of the ears. So I want you to think about the deep inner core line. If you're interested in that later, you can Google an image of that. Look at the deep inner core line muscles, and that's what we're trying to target here. We're trying to get about 10 of these, so not too many. And then bring the knees to chest. Now, if you want to make that harder, put those dumbbells on your hip bones towards your legs more than your belly. So not on your belly or your guts, right? More towards the hip bones or the legs. All right, second set. Here we go. About 10 of these. Really squeeze the object. Put the dumbbells right here, like towards the thighs, right in this little crease. And then lift. Really, I want you to squeeze as tight as you can on that squeeze object. And think about that deep inner core line of the body. Aligning the hips, aligning the shoulders, aligning that spine, and squeezing those glutes and that deep inner core line. Great job. And then set the squeeze object aside. Ankle on the knee and gently pull that in. Nice, deep, full breath. Feel that stretch. And switch sides. Now, you can grab your squeeze object or this big ball or nothing. It's up to you. I'm going to grab that between those feet, hold the legs up. I'm going to turn the legs like a steering wheel. So you could just zip your legs together really tight and turn the knees and toes right and left. Option to put the hands behind the head. Option to hover the head off the floor. Do not kink the neck. The neck is in its natural alignment. Where you're bending at the spine to lift that head is like where the bra strap line of a woman would be. You just bend there a little bit and hover the head off the earth. Keep those elbows open. Push the head back into the hands. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Gently set that down. Your legs can be on the ball or on a piece of furniture or on the floor. Hold one leg down and one leg up. Stretch the back of that leg. Point and flex the foot. Pull the shoulders away from the ears. Elongate the neck and breathe. Look at the tendons that run across the top of the foot and really try to stretch and elongate those toes to the ceiling and stretch all those tendons. Those tendons run into these, they're the tendons of these lower leg muscles, and so we want to stretch all the way to the toes. Our feet take so much abuse and not enough stretching. And then flex that foot and really open up the arch of the foot. Pretend like you could pull the heel and the toes away from each other and elongate that calf. You can even rub the calf or the hamstring to try to get it to loosen up and get more blood flow to that muscle. And then let's switch sides. So just hold it for a moment, breathe, keep the shoulders in the socket, pull the shoulders away from the ears, maybe point flex that foot a little bit. Look at those tendons and really point through those toes, stretch that out. Nice deep full breaths. You might try inhaling nose, exhaling nose now. And then flex that foot. Remember, you can rub those muscles that are tight, trying to get them to loosen up a little bit. Get extra blood flow in there to help them become a little bit more flexible and a lot less tight. All right. And then you can do feet together on the floor or on the ball, feet together, knees open, and let's stretch the arms overhead. Nice deep full breath. Now you can do the next thing with a little object like a foam roller or this little ball or even a very light dumbbell, but you got to be really careful with the dumbbell. Or the big ball or nothing, just pretend that you have something. I'm going to pass that ball or that object between the hands and feet. The big ball is a little easier just because it's a bigger surface to grab. And you can just go back and forth with that. Hold the core tight, so abs, back, glutes, pelvic floor, inner thigh, all nice and engaged. The breath is flowing. Keep the spine neutral. Try to stabilize the spine. The spine is not really moving. The abs are so tight, the spine doesn't move. We have that natural arch in the low back and in the neck. We're gently pushing the head into the earth to stabilize that spine a little bit more and strengthen the neck. Focus, breathe, and when you're ready, rest. All right, so let's put the ball off to the side. You don't need that anymore. And then we're gonna roll to one side, placing that bottom arm underneath the head and quad stretch. So we're just gonna do a side quad stretch today. Those of you that love bow pose, you can go ahead and do bow pose on your stomach, holding both feet behind your back. But just to change things up, it's good to do different angles. So if you always do bow pose, maybe side quad stretch today would be good. So flex that foot, elongate from the knee through that head. If any of you would like to donate for the class, you can message me and I'll send you the Venmo or PayPal, and you know I get 100% of the money if you want to donate for class today. Nice deep full breath. Keep the abs nice and tight as you elongate and breathe. And let's switch sides. Switching sides. So trying to hold the foot. Now if you cannot hold your foot yet, what you can do is put the foot down on the floor back there and elongate from the knee through the hip, letting the floor hold that stretch. That is a great stretch. It's a little different angle. It feels good even if you can hold your foot. But that's how you can eventually get to hold the foot, is start with that foot on the floor. And we're keeping the shoulder in the socket. You're getting a little bit of a neck and a shoulder stretch here also. So elongating from the top of the head through that knee, taking in some nice deep breaths. And then let's roll onto the stomach, elbows under the shoulders. Lengthen out through those fingers, get that chin parallel to the earth and curl one foot in and then the other. curling in back and forth, working on that low back. So our back gets so tight from the front of the hips, always in a seated position. So in a car, at a desk, on the couch, those hip flexors get so tight, and they attach to every one of those lumbar or low back vertebrae, and they pull on them and they make you have back pain. So right here is a gentle stretch to start working and loosening those up. You could curl both feet in. Another thing you could do is push through the hands and lift the elbows. Just take some nice deep breath, make sure the core is tight. Another thing you can do is elbows down, both knees bent in and open and shut. Those feet just working on that mobility of the SI joint and loosening up those hips and low back. Great, let's push back into child's pose or walk back slowly. You can push back child's pose, or you can do cat-cow. And then let's do what feels good to you there. Bird dog, any of those stretches. Down dog, hero again, any of that. Or just meet me in an easy position here. Take some nice deep full breaths. Now let's try to inhale nose, exhale nose. The calming breath, preparing to start our day. Inhale nose, exhale nose, regaining control of that breath after all that work. Feeling ourselves on the earth, grounding and centering. Imagine filling your energy up, just filling your body from bottom to the top, filling it with energy, bringing energy from the earth and bringing energy from the heavens, and just fill the body up full of love and light and energy. And fill it where it's overflowing, so that when we go out today and we meet circumstances and interact with other people, that we share that love and light. Hands to heart center. Namaste.